So you understand that the ego mind and this private mind is very much the same. They cannot really be separated. This private mind is personal. So it hangs together with what we call the ego, this deep sense of separation. But my point is that about 4 years old, we make this private mind to our home. And that is the world of grief. That is the world of grief. Because it's not our home. And that's why we're looking. That's why we are restless. That's why we are searching. Because we know it's not our home. But this is not true. Yeah, everybody else lives there, I know, but they are also not home. We know it. And we are searching and looking. And at the beginning we are looking in this damn mind, this private mind, to find it. How are we doing that? We go into psychoanalysis or therapy and work on the past. And try to settle the past. And make that little private mind comfortable. That is the beginning. And many people spend many years in psychoanalysis and therapy. And they find out that every time they come out of therapy, they may feel a little relief for a while, but after some time they are back again in the same misery. So, if therapy is successful, you drop out of it. You'll be finished with it. Because it's like patting the past, doing something with this little private mind, which is the problem. This little individual, private fragment. I know I'm also working with therapy, but I try to go further. I know I had to relax it, to see a broader picture. So I tell, okay, we move around with the furniture in your home now and place them in a nice way. And then there may be a chance that we can move out of the flat. Hey, come on, jump out. These conceptions resulting from attachment, if you look upon the Buddha as presenting a pure, bright, or enlightened appearance, or upon sentient beings as presenting a foul, dark, or mortal seeming appearance, these conceptions resulting from attachment to form will keep you from the supreme knowledge, even after the passage of as many eons as there are sands in the Ganges. There is only the one mind, and not a particle of anything else on which to lay hold. For this mind is the Buddha. If you students of the way do not awaken to this mind substance, you will overlay mind with conceptual thoughts. You will seek the Buddha outside yourself, and you will remain attached to forms, pious practices, and so on, all of which are harmful and not at all the way to supreme knowledge. It's so beautiful. You will do all kinds of practices, and you will try to be loving, and you will try to do this and do that. And you will see Buddhas outside yourself. You say, oh, you're fantastic. Oh, Osho is talking to me inside myself now. When I'm giving session, I'm tuning into Osho and he's telling me what to do, and blah, 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 blah. All these distinctions and so the first step that every real master will do is to say, I am just like you. We are the same. There's no difference. Realize that. Realize that there's no difference. Hanuman said to Ram, or Ram said to Hanuman, how do you see me? Ram is God, and Hanuman is the perfect devotee. And Hanuman said, when I'm attached to the body, I see you as a body. When I'm attached to the mind, I see myself as part of you. When I'm truly in myself, I see that we are one. So when we look for teachers, in the beginning we go around and we find a body, because we are identified with the body. We need to be around the body of the teacher. Or Shantimai or whoever. Because we need the body, because we are a body. When the connection goes deeper, it becomes mind to mind. Even if the teacher leaves the body, doesn't matter. Because the connection is from mind to mind. It has gone deeper. When I left Pune, after some years, I often felt Osho deeper than if I was close to him physically. I felt a deeper connection. Because there was no body to disturb it. I had the connection mind to mind. And finally, no difference. But that's not what people do. They go on putting their gurus up to something special, something extraordinary. And that is to keep the separation game going. And that is not to see the true Buddha. Making offerings to all the Buddhas of the universe is not equal to making offerings to one follower of the way who has eliminated conceptual thoughts. Why? Because such a one forms no concepts whatsoever. The substance of the Absolute is inwardly like wood or stone, in that it is motionless, and outwardly like the void, in that it is without bounds or obstructions. It is neither subjective nor objective, has no specific location, is formless and cannot vanish. Those who hasten towards it dare not enter, fearing to hurtle down through the void with nothing to cling to or to stay their fall. So they look to the brink and retreat. This refers to all those who seek such goals through cognition. Those who seek the goal through cognition are like the fur, many, while those who obtain intuitive knowledge of the way are like the horns, few. This guy, you don't need to see anything else. He's boom. You don't get it more clear. Rinzai. You don't, this is your master. You know, Wang Po was the master of Linchi, Rinzai. Making offerings to all the Buddhas of the universe is not equal to making offerings to one follower of the way who has eliminated conceptual thoughts. Why? Because such a one forms no concepts whatsoever. The substance of the Absolute is inwardly like wood or stone. Now, if you feel into this, what I say is the same. Feel that which came 3 days ago, and that which is sitting here now. You cannot say what it is, but it's a feeling of solidity. Feel that which will be leaving in 4 or 5 days. That's why you are so sure that you are yourself. When we start going crazy, this feeling starts getting overshadowed by identifications with all kind of ideas. And the more and more this substance gets lost into all these ideas, the more crazy we go. And everybody is more or less crazy. It's just a question about quantity. So when you feel that, you will feel, I am solid like a stone. That is the inwardly feeling. But don't just sense it. Don't call it anything. Don't conceptualize it. Then you lose it. The substance of the Absolute is inwardly like wood or stone, in that it is motionless. When you get really in touch with it, you will feel that even if you go into an aeroplane and fly somewhere else, or you drive in your car, you're not going anywhere. Everything is changing and moving, but this is nothing going anywhere. And it feels as if this is beyond time and space, because everything else happens in time and space. All the appearances. So it's very it's not something you're thinking, it's a knowing. Yeah. The movement of the aeroplane or the car or the bicycle or the body. But this place is very subtle. It's not moving. And the more and more you get in touch with that deep, deep feeling, you will know that you were never born and can never die. That all these ideas are because you are attached to form. Form will die, names will change, but not this deep feeling. How many have patience to really sit here without immediately producing thoughts? But that's the only hindrance. Next time you go in the aeroplane, it's a very good place to do it very often. Just ask yourself, am I really going anywhere? What is going anywhere? Sensations, thoughts, perceptions are moving. Am I moving anywhere? So that is inwardly. It feels so solid. And that's why we don't go crazy. The substance of the Absolute is inwardly like wood or stone, in that it is motionless, and outwardly like the void, in that it is without bounds or obstructions. If you look out and you look with empty eyes, then you will know what he means. If you open your eyes and just look with empty eyes, not forming any ideas about anything you see, then you will see the void, boundless. It is because of your words and your labels that you don't see the boundlessness. Because all your words and your labels, even the sky becomes form and name. Because you can name it. And then it becomes a something. Just because you can name it. It is neither subjective nor objective, has no specific location, is formless and cannot vanish. Those who hasten towards it do not enter. Oh, I want it. Fearing to hurtle down through the void with nothing to cling to or to stay there fall. So they look to the brink and retreat. This refers to those who seek such a goal through cognition. It's all the people that don't really dare to face it in its nakedness, so they keep on labeling it. Keep on labeling it, because you don't dare to stand with the raw meat. Lynchy was called, what is it called, this stuff you're talking about? Yeah, but also, he also said it's raw meat. It's not cooked. But we don't want to stand with the raw meat, we want to cook things, and these are concepts. It's cooked, it's already become something. So those who are hurtling towards it, but scared of really facing it, they call it something, labeling it, on and on and on and on. Keep on labeling. Keep on labeling. That's why I say only trust will take you there. Just trust. Just trust for no reason, not because of this or that. Just trust. One moment of trust is a mind without labels or concepts. Because all the labels and the concepts is basically your distrust. You can label it and conceptualize it, and it gives a certain feeling of being in control. Then the mind feels safe. Oh, yeah, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. What do you call it? Yes, okay. We feel safe. We don't feel safe with something that we cannot label and conceptualize. So those who hasten towards it dare not enter, fearing to hurtle down through the void with nothing to cling to or to stay there fall. So they look to the brink and retreat. They're clinging to the shore. They don't want to let go into the flow. I sometimes tell you when I have you deep down, I say, just see how everything is moving and changing. And dare to be the movement. So I'm sitting, for instance, with a feeling. The moment I label this feeling, it has a self-nature. I separate myself from it. Nukunu and sadness. It has become something because I label it. Actually, it's not something, it's just a movement. The sadness, the experience of sadness, is in itself just a pure movement with a certain flavor. But we have learned that with a certain flavor like this and that, we call it a name, sadness. And immediately with that name, the whole past is dragged in. My father's sadness, people's sadness, the sadness of a country. And this feeling I'm sitting with seems to be so real, having some substance I need to overcome. But I make it all up with my labels and my concepts. Yeah, Germany was very sad after the Second World War. You don't know there's a queue of ideas and memories the moment you just give it one name. It's all queuing up, deep, deep down. And the more all this is queuing up, the more you feel separated from it. And the more it gains some kind of reality. And then you even start struggling with it. You start struggling with your anger. And the more you struggle with it, the more it seems to grow. Because you give it energy. And the more energy you give it, the more it forms. And the more you talk about it and analyzing it, and becomes more and more reality. That's why many people going into therapy, they become more sick than they were before. Because they get all kind of labels. It's a terrible place to come on the psychiatric hospital because they label you. And you have already so many labels to struggle with. And then you are called a schizophrenic or fear neurotic or endocrine depressive. Am I? Good Lord. Endocrine depressive. Yeah, my mother also had that diagnosis. And then immediately remember your mother's state. And the whole past queuing up. And endocrine depression becomes something very real in your body. How? It's called self-hypnosis by the help. So back to Nukunu sadness. It's actually just a movement. So if you don't label it, and that's what I try to teach you in this associated inquiry, don't label anything, don't conceptualize it, don't drag the past in. Just look at, rest into it directly. Just meet it directly. But sadness is movement. Wow. It's already much more easy. I thought it was something very dark and morbid, and I thought it was really something from my unconscious that blah, blah, blah. It's just a movement. And then come into the movement. And suddenly as you come into the movement, it's very different. And the movement, I tell you, is much more close to the truth than the label. It's already losing the sense of forms and name when you come into the movement. After a while, I often tell people, now become the movement, because you are. It's the first state. You are the movement. And if you dare to enter and become the movement, you will suddenly feel the solidity. That is the paradox. You will enter into something so solid. That is the mother of the movement. That is the mother of what we call sadness. So when you work now, whatever people are working with, whatever the story is, meet it directly, rest into it. And heavy stuffs are the best because there's a lot of intensity in it. That's why in your life, when you're really cornered by something, these are the best moments to stop up and rest into what is. When you really feel, these are the good moments to stop up and rest. Then meet it. Experience it. Don't label it. Just come into the movement of it. And it's okay. Then ask yourself, what is deeper than this? And be open to whatever comes. What is deeper than this? And be open to whatever comes. Don't try to manipulate it. An even deeper fear maybe. Whatever is in store, to know this one mind, you have to learn to be totally fearless. How do you become fearless? By seeing that nothing here has any self-nature. It's because you believe it has some reality. There's nothing here that has any self-nature. It all have one self-nature, and that is certainly not fear. So that's what we will do today. We'll go down through the layers. I call it going down through the layers. Because I have noticed with people, if I tell them just to relax as awareness, there can be a tendency to stay on. But if I tell them after, when they're kind of okay, now just relax deeper. What is next? What comes next naturally? Then we kind of help the deepening, so to say. The deepening towards peace. The deepening towards clarity. And one day you will just do it in a split second. Whatever it is, you just